Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. We've got some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so let's jump right into our first story of the day by WaffleRaven. Woman berates me at 3 a.m. for not doing my job. So I was working at a supermarket doing night fill stocking shelves after hours. One night we ran super late as we were short-staffed. I didn't finish till about 2:30 a.m. After I left, the only place open for food was a 24/7 fuel station across the road that had a Subway. So I said hi to the staff, I was a regular, and got my sub and put in my headphones while I ate. I was just kinda zoning out as I had just finished a 9-hour shift, so I was a little slow. A woman came back and went up to the fuel counter. The server was not there. 3 a.m. they have a bunch of other jobs to do out back and they have a buzzer on the counter. So she's obviously seen me and moves closer. I'm oblivious listening to my audiobook. I look up when she's towering over me, glaring. She says something. I take my headphones out. Sorry?
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Okay. Now she's glaring full force.
I need you to do your job. I don't care if you're on break.
What? Still foggy.
I need you to get off your butt and do your job,
she screams. Finally, I get what's going on. I lean back and point to my shirt logo. I don't work here, I'm from the supermarket across the road.
Don't give me that bull, I'm in a hurry, now do your job.
By now, the server has come back to check on the noise. Server says, hey OP, everything okay? I say, ask her. She does an actual double take. She goes a bit red but rallies herself and glares at me again. She pays for her stuff and then in a loud as heck stage whisper says,
what's he doing here at this time of night? Suspicious if you ask me.
Then she leaves. The server shakes his head and we laugh it off. But the best part is a few weeks later. Same scenario at the same petrol place. I'm eating but more alert. She comes in, sees me eating and goes red. I say, hey server, that crazy woman is back. I then nod at her. Can I help you with anything, ma'am? I don't work here, but I know how upset you get with the truth, so maybe I can pretend? Do some roleplay? If that would help. The server comes out, she buys some gum and leaves never saying a word. Her face bright red. Let me ask you guys something because it seems to be a pretty recurring theme and I'm kind of curious. Now, it doesn't fit this story great, but I want to ask you guys if there's a scenario where somebody is in a different store that they don't work in, but they're wearing their work attire and it's pretty similar, do you think it's understandable that there's a confusion? I guess in retrospect, it probably is actually pretty understandable. It's just these are Karens and their reactions are really what make the story the story. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Should they be able to see the logo all the time? Let me know. Our next story is by Don't Tell Them Pike 1979. I am not your personal shopper. This happened a few years back in my local Tesco. So at the time I was working early shifts, meaning I got on about 2 p.m. This day I needed some stuff, so I stopped on the way home. As I was trundling around with my basket, I kept bumping into the same old lady, as you do sometimes. And we exchanged hellos and hello agains, etc, etc. Just nice normal interaction. There were a couple of items she couldn't reach, so she asked if I wouldn't mind getting them down for her from various shelves. No problem, here. Old lady says, oh, thank you so much, I always worry about those shelves. I say happy to help. So eventually we just ended up going our separate ways and I carried on shopping. Then the ahem came.
Finally, I thought you'd ignore me forever.
Pardon?
Ready to actually do your work now?
Slowly dawning realization.
Right, I need you to get these things. I'm too tired.
Right, okay, so I don't actually work here.
What? Yes you do, you've been helping her for the last 15 minutes.
Me gesturing to my basket and pointing to the logo of the company I actually work for on my polo shirt. Nope, sorry, I'm just shopping here.
Well, it doesn't matter, boy.
I was 25-ish at the time.
You can still help me.
Me getting pissed off. No, I'm going to finish my shopping actually. So...
No, you've been her personal shopper for the last 15 minutes, and now you're going to do it for me.
Good luck with that. I'm not yours or anyone's personal shopper." I actually would have happily got the higher items if there were any and she'd asked as nicely as the old lady, but I hate entitled people, and I hate entitled rude people even more, which just made me more determined she wouldn't get her way. With that, I begin to walk away, but am swiftly dragged back by the miserable old trout.
How dare you? You will do this.
Enter original old lady who evidently has seen what's happened.
What do you think you're doing? That young man has been so helpful and you're treating him like rubbish.
This intervention by old lady stopped miserable old trout in her tracks. Old lady then whacks miserable old trout with her handbag and proceeds to give her a dressing down in front of the crowd which is gathered. I'm just watching this play out in front of me, not knowing what to do. To be honest, I was just glad it was old lady who went for her rather than me having to get rid of miserable old trout.
You can clearly see his own shopping. You can clearly see the shirt he's wearing.
Miserable old trout saying,
But.
See, I don't work here and I was hoping this lady get the higher items she couldn't reach. Miserable old trout blustering and stammering. If you need help in the future, I might ask you show some manners and common courtesy rather than acting entitled and spoiled. Old lady says, exactly. Following this, the store management turned up and after a brief explanation from us, sent miserable old trout on her way empty-handed after she huffed about customer service for a few minutes. Never saw miserable old trout again though, which was a proper bonus. Ever thankful for old lady's intervention though. There's no way I was going to help miserable old trout out, but old lady made it significantly easier to ensure miserable old trout got what was coming to her. You know, you probably must have been doing some pretty dumb stuff when a little old lady has to come over and start beating you up based off of what you were saying or what you were trying to pull. I'm sure miserable old trout wanted to just forget about that whole experience real quickly. This next story is by MissShane. Spent 15 minutes at the receiving end of an enraged passenger of an airline I did not work for. So this happened a few years ago while I was still working at the airport. As a backstory, I didn't directly work for any airline. I worked for a ground handling company that managed the ground services for quite a few airlines at the airport where I worked. Only the main airline of our country has its own customer service staff, and they are easily recognized as they wear the same uniform as the staff in cabin. The rest of us were often ambushed by passengers of airlines we knew nothing about, but we were used to it and kindly directed them to the right people, or sometimes were even able to answer them. For example, if they asked for the gate or where the check-in counters are. So anyways, it's the afternoon rush during summer holidays and we are about halfway done with check-ins for Airline X. The flight is full and it's one of those airlines that flies everywhere, so the passengers are also from everywhere with various amounts of luggage and several different types of travel documents. Check-in is usually slow and agonizing. Then, and all of a sudden, I am dealing with a lady that has apparently missed her flight. I sit at the counter at the far end as I have also been assigned to go to the gate after check-in has calmed down a bit. I see this lady coming from the corner of my eye, but at first, I assume she is just coming to use the scale meant for passengers. I call the next family to my desk, keeping an eye on the clock and the ETA of the aircraft. Just as I greet the family and take their passports, this lady stumps to my desk and says, "Excuse me?" I give her a quick smile and say, "I'm sorry, the end of the line is that way," as I now think she's one of our passengers.
No, I'm flying to Intercity with Airline Y.
Okay.
I need you to check me in. My flight is leaving in 30 minutes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I don't work for that airline. All this while still trying to provide service to the family in front of me. Thankfully, they seem understanding.
Well, call the people who do. Where is their staff? They can't just leave their desks empty.
If your flight leaves in 30 minutes, that means the check-in is probably closed. They have a ticket desk downstairs, it might still be open. I knew the airline closes 45 minutes before departure. This wasn't the first time we had to tell Airline Y's passengers about this, but usually they accepted their fate after hearing we don't work for them.
What? But I have to get on that flight. Call someone right now.
I am so sorry, ma'am, but my priority is this queue right here and I don't work for the company that handles your airline. I honestly would not even know who to call. And also, I know it wouldn't help, so there is no way I will stop checking in my passengers by calling the supervisor of a different company about a late passenger.
You take my bag then.
She screams and literally just dumps her bag on my belt that is moving because I just sent the family's 2 bags forward. I managed to grab it before it disappears without a tag, and it's so heavy I nearly tip over in my heels as I drag it back to the scale. Ma'am, I can't send your bag forward without a tag.
Tag it then.
I can't, as I have said, I don't work for Airline Y. I have no access to their system, nor do I know if they even take last-minute bags.
It's the same belt. Their check-in is right there. You all use the same computers. Just take my bag or I want to talk to your manager.
At this point, she is loud enough that my colleague at the next desk is calling security and she attracts the attention of my check-in supervisor. I send the family at my desk on their merry way. They thank me and wish me good luck, but I can't call in the next customer as this lady is now in front of my desk, pointing at me and accusing me of bad service and screaming how she has to be on the flight and how I was just stuck up and high on power. I opened the app on our computers that allowed us to see the boarding status of all flights. Basically the same screen passengers see on the monitors but with timestamps. And quietly interrupt her screaming by saying, "They have had final call on the board for 10 minutes. I don't think you'd even make it. The line to the security is at least 15 minutes, and even if she managed to elbow her way through it, the gate is at the other end of the airport, and she'd have to clear passport control as well."
You know that, but you can't check me in?
She then screams. My supervisor is now actually on the phone with the company that handles Airline Y and tells the lady once she has hung up that, yeah, they close 45 minutes before departure. And now we have to listen to the lady absolutely lose her crap about how no one told her. And
she will sue all of us.
By now, the aircraft status has changed to approaching, which means that since the check-in is, by some miracle, winding down, I'm supposed to close my desk and go help the rest of the gate staff prep for deboarding and boarding. I look at my supervisor, who promptly tells the colleague who called security close up and go in my stead, as the lady is not done. When she sees security arriving, she blows up to an actual tantrum like a 5-year-old, stomping her foot and slapping my desk, even kicking her luggage as if trying to force it back to the belt. We let the security escort her a little further away, but she is still yelling at me and my supervisor how Airline X and Y both suck, and how we should be ashamed of ourselves for not helping her, and how she works in tourism and knows how all of this works, and of course, she also knew the CEO of our company and we'd be fired within a week. I couldn't resist calling out, "Our manager doesn't work for Airline Y either," which caused my supervisor to go, "Hush." But she was barely not laughing and I didn't receive any reprimands. I checked in a couple more passengers before I hurried to the gate where deboarding has just finished. I also see Airline Y pushing back from its gate right on schedule. This lady just could not comprehend that no matter how she looked at it, this person does not work for the airline she's focused on. Their manager doesn't work there, their manager probably doesn't work there. They were just completely separate entities and she couldn't understand that. This next story is by maryrosetudor. Does it look like I work at the vets? This happened just a few hours ago. I made an appointment for my cat today to get her first round of shots and for her yearly exam. I made the appointment for later in the day in case I ran late with a shipment, and I did end up running late. In my rush, I completely left my mask in my work bag and could not enter the vet's office. Thankfully, they had curbside service and could still get my cat her shots. I call the vet, they take in my cat and tell me that it's going to be a few minutes. Cool beans. In the meantime, I am deciding between a podcast or my audiobook. I go with my audiobook. The Queen's Vow. So far, it's super good. Anyway, as I am turning on my audiobook, I get a rap tap on my window. I jump and turn to see this lady standing near my car. I only put my window down just a little bit to give myself and this lady, who was also not wearing a mask, some protection between us.
"Excuse me, I need to board my dog here. I'll be back on the 15th.
Okay, good for you. What does it have to do with the tea in China?
I saw you drop off that whatever it was. I need to drop off my dog.
I heard you the first time. Does it look like I work here? Just note the vet staff wear scrubs. I was wearing a Journey t-shirt and leggings.
I don't care if you're off. I saw Lexi,
one of the staff.
Get that cage from the back of your car.
First off, that was my cat. She's getting her yearly. Also, I do not work here. I put up my window and turn on my audiobook. The lady bangs on my window. I ignore her. Eventually, she walks away. Okay, that's the end of that. Of course, that as we know, it's never the end. About 20 minutes pass, the vet tech comes out with Kitty in the cage, complaining loudly as the tech is putting her in the car. The tech tells me she is perfectly healthy and did great for her shots. Then the same lady as before comes up to the vet tech, ranting and raving about how I won't come and get her dog. I heard the vet tech say, "She's a client here, ma'am. She and her pets have been clients since 2011.
I don't care. Someone has to take my dog. I'm leaving tonight.
Okay, I'm going to go and check and see if you have a reservation for your dog.
I am a loyal customer. I don't need a reservation.
At this point, I look at Lexi to see if I can go, and my cat at this point is letting out profanities in kitty language. Lexi just nods and I carefully pull out of the parking lot. I don't know what happened after that, but I feel sorry for Lexi. But Kitty is doing well and is currently eating her dinner. Well, I'm glad to hear that Kitty is doing well and currently eating their dinner. To me, that's the main thing, and also I hope that the lady's dog is doing well. Considering the way she acted, I'm a bit concerned for how well it's getting taken care of, but he's probably okay, I hope. And our final story of the day is by feetofgay. I'm literally in pajamas. I've had my fair share of confused for a worker encounters, but this one was particularly bewildering. I've been running DoorDash as a means for extra income during the pandemic. Since I basically just work for myself and my encounter with customers is very slim, most just request you leave their order on their doorstep, I tend to go out in comfy clothing, usually sweatpants or pajama pants. I had gone out wearing my pink fleece Hello Kitty pajama pants, sandals, and a Ghostbusters t-shirt. I pull up to this upscale Cheesecake Factory-esque type restaurant, red DoorDash bag in hand, and approach the hostess to pick up an order. As I'm speaking with her, 3 25 to 30-year-old guys come up from behind me. They definitely were there long enough to see me speaking to the hostess, whom was wearing an all-black uniform with her hair tied back nicely. As I'm walking back outside to wait for the order, one of the guys comes up to me and tries to place an order? I looked at him as confused as I possibly could through my face covering. I go, "Oh, I don't work here, I'm sorry." And after that he gave me an even more confused look and he goes, "Oh well, you guys had the same mask, I couldn't tell." I couldn't even tell if he was being facetious or not because we both just had a black face mask on. Anyways, got my food and was on my way. I'm pretty shocked about this one. You go to Cheesecake Factory and you see somebody in Hello Kitty pajama pants, sandals, and a Ghostbusters t-shirt, and just because they have a similar looking face mask you assume they work there? Who's gonna work at Cheesecake Factory in that attire? That's just such an inability to read the room. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today, so if you have a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video today, please give the video a like and subscribe if you haven't and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. No matter what you did, whether it was just watching the video, subscribing, commenting, thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day and I'll see you all next time right here.